Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining our Sochology session. My name is Inshad Wajahat. I'm a PM at the Youth Enterprise, and I'm joined with Shumaila, who is a PM at Kafu here in Dubai. Shumaila and I will be your hosts for today. We have a very special guest for you today who will be speaking about positioning yourself in the job market, especially in the UAE region. Before kicking off the event, we have a special announcement for the Dubai folks. The one and only Atir Abdul Rauf will be joining us on the 18th of August for a meet and greet. The venue and the timings will be shared later, so keep a lookout on this space if you're interested. Moving on to our session, some things to keep in mind. Whether you're joining us from YouTube or LinkedIn, please post your questions into the chat and we'll bring them up at the end of the session. This is a great opportunity for you guys to ask questions to Ahmed. More about the topic now. Finding a job has become increasingly difficult over the years, and especially finding one in this region has become more cumbersome than ever. According to one stat, there has been a 30% fall in the PM jobs, even though this is picking up now. We are joined by Ahmed Afzal today, who brings over 9 years of experience across multiple domains and launching products. Throughout his career, he has made products that have had immense impact and is currently the director of product at EdTech.ai. He previously joined a consultancy firm in New York where he shipped multiple successful products in crypto, health, real, and edtech. Last year, he moved to the UAE to further expand his PM portfolio and has worked on cutting edge technologies like AI and computer vision. He has had multiple job offers before landing in Dubai, which is an achievement in itself, and we're looking forward to listening to you. Thank you, Ahmed, for joining us and taking out the time. Over to you.
Thank you, Inshal. Thank you for a great introduction. I'm really happy. I'm really privileged to be here, and I would love to share my insights and what I have been through when I landed here in UAE. And I would try to do my best to help the people who are stuck in their career, in their job search, and they're finding it difficult to land a suitable product job for them, especially in the UAE region. So. Thank you for the opportunity. I think we can get started, right?
Yes, sure.
Just give me a moment. So our topic, as you all know, is product to persona. Some of you might be wondering what does that mean. So I'll explain in a bit. Just hang in there. So there are hundreds of candidates for each job post that is being posted online. Even if you see on LinkedIn, when there is a product role that is being posted, in next 5-10 minutes, you will see hundreds of people that have already applied. And some would argue that there are thousands of people fighting for the same role. So how can you stand out? That's a question, and that's what we're going to discuss in today's session. Uh, Definitely by not following the same job methods that you have been following for last 20 years, everything has been changed. The way of doing things, the way of earning money, the way of uh, product management, even like the way of building software products, everything has changed. But we are following the same methods. They do work for some, but it's something that has become obsolete, I would say. When you follow the same old job hunting methods, these are the challenges that most of us face. I face these myself. I'm sure that these resonate with most of you. If there is any other challenge that you guys are facing, feel free to share that in the comment section or in the Q&A session. So most of the times you apply, but recruiters never respond. There are very domain-specific job titles. For example, crypto product manager, fintech product manager, healthcare product manager, and you always get confused. There, you get no responses on the online applications, and then there are hundreds of applicants on each job, which we already discussed. The process of recruitment is very slow, specifically in the region. It can take weeks, and especially when some of you are on a visit visa of 2 months and you only have 4 weeks. There are a lot of internal hirings going on in the region. You might not have a reference because it's a new place for you. You have limited time, which I already mentioned, and then some companies, they require local experience, which you of course don't have when you come to a place like UAE. So how can we change that? How can we combat with all these challenges? So I would say we can apply the same product principles from our day-to-day jobs to our career, to our job search journey, or we can treat our job search as a product. But uh, the same way, like we advocate in product management, that think like a customer, here I would say start thinking like a hiring manager, and you will have a better idea how you can fill that gap. So, but people ask why should we listen to you. I would say that I landed 3 offers in 5 weeks when I came to UAE, and that did not happen by chance or by luck. There have been some work behind it, and I did some things that were, I would say, unorthodox to the traditional job hunting methods. And we're going to discuss all of those in a bit. I have segregated everything in 3 phases: discovery, planning, and execution. And just to iterate that all of these phases, they are like, you can go through these phases in iterations. They don't have to be in a very sequence. So for example, I give this example to other people that if you are on a visit visa in UAE, you have 8 weeks. So you can divide those 8 weeks into 4 sprints of 2 weeks each, and then you can go through this process 4 times and fine tune things 4 times, and then you will, of course, have better results. So let's start with the discovery phase. The first question that comes to our mind is, why do companies hire product managers? And I think discovery is all about asking questions, asking the right questions, and getting to the root cause of the problem. That's what we do, right, in our jobs. So there are multiple definitions out there, and I wouldn't say any of these definitions are right or wrong, but I find this uh, very simple to understand for almost everyone, from the book Transformed by Marty Kagan. Product managers are responsible for value and viability, and they work with different cross-functional business units to ship a product. So once you know what does a product manager do, then I would say start with a self-assessment. Like, always start with a self-assessment. You should know what are your weaknesses, what are your strengths. So here I took SWOT analysis for an example or for the sake of slides, but you can go with any framework. Identify your weak points, your strong points, and that's what will help you understand how you can plan your learning path, how you can go after some very specific companies or accounts. So once you have done your self-assessment, the next thing is market research. Uh, Sorry, I might be going very fast through the slides, but I have a lot of value to share with you guys in a very limited time, and I really want to have a good amount of time for Q&A session so I can answer your questions as well. So once you have done the self-assessment, the next thing I would say is the market research. Identify the companies that you want to work at. So what I did, by the way, this is all dummy data. Don't take it seriously. I know there are some companies that are not in the scene anymore. Uh, what I did, I created a scoring mechanism where I rated every company that I wanted to be at from a scale of 5, and then I gave them a weightage. I'll show you that weightage in a bit. So, for example, I identified these 8 metrics that matter the most to me in my job search. You can change them. You can have your own metrics. You can go philosophical with these as well. I am a bit materialistic, so I took Glassdoor, from where I can understand the positioning of the company from the employee's perspective. Reddit plays a big role here because if you are in a region like UAE, you can get to know about any of the product from Reddit. Just type the name of the product and you will see people talking about that product. So you will get an idea where that product is headed. Then product team. Look up the product team on the LinkedIn, talk to them, meet them in the product events, and you will have a better understanding of whom you are going to work with. The recent round, there are like a bunch of websites that can help you understand if they have raised any recent round of investment. For example, I use Crunchbase a lot. So if they have raised an investment, that's of course will help them pay you a good salary, and also they have a room to build more products and innovate more. And then the industry fit, uh, what domain you want to work for. If you have experience in health tech, or maybe you have experience in real estate or some very specific domain, then you should always give this parameter more weightage. Then innovation, how innovative that company is. If they are working in the cutting edge technologies, for example, these days, if the company is leveraging AI to augment their results or not. I think that plays a critical role. Then the culture of the company, you can understand that from Glassdoor, Reddit, and also from the people, like from the LinkedIn and from social media. Then how much the growth potential is there, that you can see by checking their, I would say, how much iteration is happening there, and people, how much time each employee on average spend in that company, and like how was their growth. So I think that will give you a very good idea of what can be your growth potential. I calculated a very basic score for Kareem, but you can do it for uh, every other company. I have attached the link. You will get a link to these slides as well at the end of the presentation. And I have templates of all these scoring mechanisms that you can leverage, and maybe you can edit or fine tune based on your own, I would say, preferences, and then you can go from there. So, for example, I came up with this batch of companies for my first iteration, for my first sprint, that I have to go after these companies based on all the scoring. Okay, so now I have done the self assessment. Now I know the companies I have to go after. What's next? So, what I would do is I would map my self assessment and those the pains and the services of those companies in a way that I know how I can fill the gaps. What are the pains of that company, what they're looking for, what services are they providing, what domain are they in, and then you know your strengths, your weaknesses, your experiences. So there is a way to map everything together with value mapping technique, but you can use any other framework, as I said earlier. So this way you will understand your positioning in the market, especially for those specific companies that you have shortlisted, but also you get a really good insight on how you can define your learning path, how you can learn things that can help you position yourself better in front of those companies. So I would say don't look for perfection when you are doing this value mapping and you are doing some brainstorming or discovery exercise. Just look for 70% alignment, and that's it. Go after them. So once the discovery is done, you know what you are going to do, and you have your list of target companies. The next thing can be execution, but I added another step in between, which is planning. So I think it's very crucial to plan everything that we're going to do, because once we go through a sprint of 2 weeks, let's say, we need to know what went well and what went wrong, so we can come back and fine tune our framework, so we can head into the right direction. So as they always say, you are what you measure. So I would say define your success metrics. I went a bit crazy with my success metrics. I chose North Star metric, and then it has 3 dimensions. Each dimension has its own KPIs, but you can go very simple. Just go with some KPIs or OKRs or whatever, but have a success metric so you know which path you are on, how you can track it, trace it, come back, and fine tune things. So, like, if again we go a bit philosophical, or I'm not like motivational speaker, but you should have a success metric for almost everything in your life. I would say it keeps you on track. You have the visibility on all your actions. Also, jot down every task that you have to do in your job search and try to align that with your success metric. And anything that does not align with your success metric, I would just dump that, because we have to narrow down everything and bring focus to our strategy and our plan. So that's what I will do. And also, like, it's very important to keep track of all the activities that you are doing. So once you are coming back to that again, so you're not duplicating anything, you're not spending the same effort on the same task again. Also, you know what happened the last time when you did the same task. So now you can find a different approach. One thing that I would love to mention here, that it's just like product management, it's very critical to do experimentation. And while I'm sharing this framework with you, where you guys can think from a different perspective, I'm trying to ignite that mindset, that think from a different perspective while you are searching for jobs. Don't discard the traditional job hunting methods that you are following. Keep doing those as well. Try try all of the things. There is a concept in shared by James C. Collins, that consider you don't know the target, so start firing bullets in all the directions. And when you know the target, start firing cannonballs. That's how you can narrow down the focus. And with experimentation, you will know what works and what does not work. What does not work, you just discard it. And what works for you, you just double down on that. And also, what worked for me might not work for you. So you have to keep on doing experimentation and find your own path. Okay, so now you have the tracking system, you have your success metrics. The next thing that comes to my mind is the job platforms. So there are a bunch of popular job platforms in the region: LinkedIn, Indeed, Naukri Gulf, Gulf Talent, Bait, and many others. But according to Social Shepherd, 72% of the hirings are done through LinkedIn. I also think that most of the impactful hirings are done through LinkedIn. So again, according to a principle which we call Pareto principle, I would spend all my energy on LinkedIn so I can get most of the value out of it. When we talk about LinkedIn, we'll talk about LinkedIn optimization. By doing very small tweaks on your LinkedIn profiles, you guys can stand out. And we're going to talk about each of these tactics in a bit. So, like as you see the stats here from the briefcase coach, that 9 to 10% of the relevant keywords should appear on your profile. How to find those relevant keywords? We'll talk about that. 46% of respondents see the headline as the most important section. How to optimize the headline for your LinkedIn profile. We're going to talk about that in the next slides. 84% of people read at least the first sentence of the about section. So we have to make sure that is like on point and it grabs the attention. 65% of users reach out to someone they don't know because of something they have posted online. So like these are the small things that you can do on day-to-day basis that can help you stand out. So, for example, we'll start with the keyword research. Uh, how you can do the keyword research that can help you bring your profile up in the search results. If you guys are aware of search engine optimization, it works in the same way. So, I would suggest that pick your top 5 perfect jobs that you think are made for you, and then copy their job descriptions, paste them all in a very raw format in one document, and upload that document to any keyword cloud that you find online on Google. And then it will generate a keyword cloud for you. Pick the keywords from there based on the density of the keywords and use them in your profile. And that's how recruiters will start seeing your profile when they search from the LinkedIn recruiter tool, which is a separate tool. Regarding the headline optimization, uh, there is a really, really good format by Austin Belkak that the first section should be based on keyword and the industry that you are working in, and the second section of your headline should portray the value that you are providing or the impact you are creating. So this is a great way to get more eyeballs, I would say, and also like rank well when someone searches you on LinkedIn. Regarding about us section, so the first paragraph can be a summary. So a summary of your resume, I would say. Your resume is very like laser focused on a very specific role, but here you can summarize it that you are a product manager in that domain with that number of years of experience, and you have done this. And then the second section should be about the very like specific key achievements or case studies. For example, the products that you have worked on in the past and what impact that you have made in those products. These can be bullet points. You don't have to have a very verbose about a section. So like about me section. Then I would do something which people mostly don't do. I will add some human side or some fun side of me to my about section. For example, in my profile, I add some extracurricular activities I'm a part of. For example, I play sports and I also play a violin. So if I add these things, it helps connect with people. Like people think that you are more approachable. It can be very subjective, but it gives you like a very good way to connect with people and to look that you are someone who might be very easy to work with because you are in a lot of things and people can relate to you. So add some human side to your about section. Then you must have the contact information. You can add your email. So this is important for the people that are not your connection. So if they come to your profile and they want to connect with you or send you a message, they can use your email to send you an email. Then the next important section is skills section. Uh, According to this screenshot, you can see there is a specific filter to search based on skills in LinkedIn Recruiter, which means that this section has a lot of importance. Uh, According to LinkedIn, you must have one endorsement on any of the skill, so it can be factored into the algorithm of the LinkedIn. And then if you have minimum 5 skills, you perform 7x better with views. Uh, this is again according to LinkedIn. So you need to have the right skills. Again, for the skills, go to the keyword cloud that we created. Uh, hand pick the skills that you think will work best for you, and then add them to your skills section, and try to get endorsement. And also, there is a trick: if you get endorsement from the people who work in the same domain and they also have the same skill, it gets more score, and you can identify these things on a social uh, selling index of LinkedIn, which is SSI. You can search about it on Google. Okay, so we have done the discovery. We know what we're going to do. We have done the planning. We have all the right things in place. We have our LinkedIn sorted. We have a tracking system where we can track everything we are doing, for a success metric, which will help us stay on the same path or stay us in focus on the direction that we are on. Then comes the execution part. I think this is one of the most important parts of the whole framework. So, uh, in sales or marketing, there are two common notions you might have heard about them. One is inbound, one is outbound. So, inbound is when someone reaches out to you, and outbound is when you reach out to the prospect. Uh, in a times like today, I would say inbound does not work well because there are only handful of recruiters and there are a lot of candidates. So either you get lucky or some recruiter reaches out to you, or you have a really, really good LinkedIn profile and the portfolio and the social presence that can help LinkedIn attract towards you. Otherwise, it gets really hard in a situation like this. So the better way, or the way that worked for me and can work for you as well, is outbound marketing. Even in outbound marketing, there are two ways of doing it. One is traditional way of prospecting, where we where we do a lead generation exercise. We create a list of all the emails for a specific ICP from a specific industry, and then we send them email bursts from Mailchimp or other tools, and then we wait for the responses. And based on those responses, we start reaching out to them to nurture the prospect more, or like convert them. People call them MQLs, SQLs, but I have tried that when I came to Dubai. So what I did was I hired a person who did a lead generation for me, and he fetched 500 emails of hiring managers from Dubai, from all of the UAE, and then we sent out an email burst from Mailchimp. It worked out, but it does not I would say the value is not there. Like, it's a lot of work and the return is not great as expectation. So you can still go for it. It might work for you. As I said, keep doing experimentation. But I found that account-based prospecting is what makes a real difference. And we'll talk about that in a bit. So just like sales, in account-based prospecting, we need to have a buying intent. So the person we are about to reach to, he should be looking for you or a product person. So there must be a gap there. So for example, we shortlisted few companies. Now we are going to identify the hiring managers or our ICP from them. They must have a need that you can fill. So that should be there. So you have to figure that out based on your research, discovery on Glassdoor, Reddit, other platforms. You research about their new product lines and the product lines that they have ended. So you need to have a buying intent, and then you will have the account list based on the next slide, where we identify our ICP. So as I wrote here, blindly sending out resume is like throwing darts in the dark. You might hit something, but likely not the bullseye. So you can get lucky, but I wouldn't say that's the best approach. So you have to create an ICP for your prospect. So you have the companies, top 5 companies that you're going after. Uh, I would create an ICP, ideal client profile, or ideal hiring manager profile, I would say. And then I will have multiple parameters that I can fill based on my own preferences from those companies that I have shortlisted. Then I will start reaching out to them. Okay. So just to recap a bit, we did discovery, where we did self-assessment, and then we figured out the gaps in the market, and we also shortlisted handful of companies. Then we try to value map everything, how we can fill those gaps that these companies have, or the needs that they have right now, and we can fulfill those needs. And then we identified our uh, success metric. We did some planning. We created a framework to track everything, and now we're talking about how we can reach out to the prospects of those companies, the hiring managers. I would mention again here, the hiring managers are not the recruiters. The whole point of this framework is, sorry, all the recruiters that might be listening to this, but ditch the recruiters. They are getting hundreds of messages every day. How do you think that you will get lucky and you will get stay on the top of their inbox and they will reply to you? So people complain a lot about this. I have faced this myself, that recruiters don't respond on LinkedIn. That's the exact reason. So instead of them, start reaching out to the hiring managers. Who are the hiring managers? The VP of product, the director of product, head of product, uh, product lead, design lead. It can be chief operations officer. So target those people in your target companies, and then you have better chances, because they don't get as many messages as recruiters. You will have a better chance of getting a response. But how you can get a response and not get ghosted, we'll talk about that as well in a moment. So after I have identified my ICP, I would identify my channels, what channels I'm going to use. So I know everything that I'm going to do, and I don't just, like, again, shoot in the dark. So the channel for applying or reaching out to people is LinkedIn. Then I would, like, focus a lot on communities and events, specifically in this region. There are some really good communities that you can be a part of, and you can connect with really, really good people. There is Product Tank, there is Product Me, there is Product School, Product Soch, and then there is HCD UAE Meetup. So try to connect with the people in these communities. Try to attend the events. You will find a lot of like value. You will meet with people who can really, really help you make waves in the industry. I can tell you, I got interviewed in one of the Product Tank event. I just met someone who happened to be a hiring manager. I shared my story. He liked it, and he said, "Okay, can you tell me this?" I gave him the response, and then he said, "Let's talk about this on email." Then my recruitment process started. So, like, these can be, I would say, really uh, valuable for you, all these events. There is a really good Slack channel of Product School. You can search about it on Google and join that Slack channel. You can do mock interviews with people, you can meet people, you can see the case studies, you can see all the trends that are happening in the product world. So it will keep you ahead of others. So communities and events is a great way to connect with people and learn more and uplift yourself as a product person. There's a third channel that I, like, would argue is one of the strongest channel in the region, and I was very, like, surprised when I found out about it. uh, there are gyms, paddle courts, specific beach sports or sports club that you can join, and you can connect with hiring managers. Now I will leave it to you guys to figure that out. But for example, I'm living in Dubai. uh, there is an area we call Dubai Internet City, uh, filled with all the tech companies, big tech companies, giants, and startups, SMEs. There are very specific gyms there that you can join, and you will be able to meet a lot of these people. And you can get, like, if you are really good at networking, so it can work for you. And then again, you can find really good people at beach sports, at different coffee shops near beach. I happened to stumble upon a recruitment manager at a beach, and then like I landed one offer from there as well. Then paddle courts is a thing that is going on trend in the region, especially in Dubai. Uh, if you want to give it a shot, give it a shot. It might work for you because a lot of these people, especially from our industry, from the tech industry, they go to paddle courts in the evenings. You can you can get lucky to get in touch with them. So now you have identified your channels. Now the next step is how do you reach out to your prospects? How do you reach out to the hiring managers? And even though I'm a great advocate of artificial intelligence, AI, ChatGPT, LLMs, I'm building things myself, but I would recommend, highly recommend that don't just rely on AI. Like use AI to augment your work, not do your work. This is an actual message that I received on LinkedIn. So don't be that person. Like I know we all drink water, but don't be this person. Be this person. Your message that you send on LinkedIn to reach out to your hiring manager should be in this format. I'm not sure if I can ask the live audience to tell me what's wrong with this message, but that would be really interesting because this message is there for a reason. So this is something that I figured out when I searched online. What's the best format to send a message to a recruiter or a hiring manager? This is something that I found out, and there is something fundamentally wrong with this. When we think from the product perspective, all the person is doing is talking about himself. I am this. I did this. I can do this. I'm looking for the job. You will not get the other person interested in you if you keep talking about yourself. So there is a way, the marketing way, which we call email sequences or nurturing the lead, I would say. So don't make it about yourself, make it about the other person, and don't send everything in one message after just connecting on LinkedIn. After you have just connected on LinkedIn, break down the messaging into different parts. This is a template that I would recommend. I used and I got a lot of responses. Where on the day of connection, I would send just a greeting message, and after like on an alternative day, after 1 day gap, I would send that hiring manager a message and mention a post or an event or something that they have posted online previously in the last week or maybe in the last month. There is a great tool that you can use for this, copy.ai or line.ai. Line, the spellings are Lyne, line.ai. If you feed them the LinkedIn profiles of the person or the prospect or the hiring manager, they can fetch out information that can be crazy, and they will be like, okay, this person is like really following me, they know my content, they know what I have posted. So share something specific that they have posted online and share your take on it. It can ignite a conversation, it can start a conversation, so it can be a good point to start nurturing your lead. And if that happens, that's well and good. If that does not happen, you keep on trying on that, and then you can send your last message, where you will share the actual reason of the connection. So you can tell them that you have seen their product and the company they are working at, and based on all the research that you have done in your discovery. For example, if you have researched about the product on Reddit and you have seen some people or a group of people talking about some specific problem, you can write about that problem, and then you can share how you can solve that problem for them. Be very exclusive, how you can solve that problem for them, what will be your approach, and how your past experiences back that. So this can really help get the attention. And the other person, like I would tell you myself from the hiring manager's perspective, uh, I would always give that person a preference because I would know this person has done some research, and uh, he's not just jumping around or sending messages out. So he really means business. He has done some research, or maybe you can do case studies. There are people in the industry that do like full-fledged case studies, or they create a really nice UIs and then they send it to the hiring managers that we can improve this feature by doing this, and it can impact the business this way. So if you have this reasoning, I think you can make a real business case for them to hire you. Also, one thing that I haven't seen in this region, but I have been leveraging it, and I know it works. Uh, we don't connect with VCs and investors. So, for example, I would tell you, you have identified your top 5 companies or top 10 companies, and we have also looked at Crunchbase for their recent rounds. So, which means they have raised money, which means they have raised money from some people. Who are those people? So, if you think about it, those people can have an influence in that company or on that product. So, if you reach out to them, they can really help you get started there. So, I'll give you an example. That person might be in the stream, but I got connected with a VC from the region. He was a fintech VC, and he has invested in, I think, more than 10 products now. But back then he invested, he had like a portfolio of 8 products. So I reached out to him in this way, got his attention, and made him come on a coffee chat. And then I was fortunate enough to impress him with my credentials, with my experience, and everything that I have been doing in the startup space. He sent out one email to all 8 of his portfolio companies in fintech with my resume, and every company gave me preference, and I ended up giving interview at 2, and then there is one offer from one of the company, and these are big companies. I would not name them, but this is a tactic that can really work for you, and I don't think people go after this. You guys, just like, or me as well, from the past, we just keep relying on the apply now button. So we have to start thinking differently. We are product people. We try to find innovative solutions for the problems that we are facing. So I would say try different things, go different routes, and you might find a really, really good, I would say, job for yourself. And once you're done doing all of what we discussed, one thing that when I talk to product people, especially on the events, when they tell me that we reach out to that guy and they have not responded me, then I ask them, have you followed up? Most of them say, no, we haven't followed up because we are applying now in the other companies. I would tell you that follow up is very powerful. Following up with people is very powerful. And there are recruiters or there are hiring managers in the industry that can uh, like agree on that how annoying I was, because I had follow-ups on my calendar scheduled. So not every day, but I had very strategically placed all the follow-ups on my calendar. Like after 4 or 5 days, I have to call that person again. After 5 days, I have to call that person again. I don't call on Mondays because I know Mondays are busy. I call on a day that that person will be free and they won't have a lot of work to do maybe. So I do these things, and this is exactly the mindset that you have to bring from your product life, from your maybe product marketing principles, product growth principles, and apply that onto your job search. So do follow up with people. These are some stats from this source, Fit Small Business, regarding the power of follow-ups. 80% of all the sales need at least 5 follow-up calls. 44% of sales professional calls in a day after one follow-up attempt. 92% of sales professionals give up after 4 follow-up calls. 6 out of 10 customers say no 4 times before they say yes. So follow-ups are powerful. And also, like, if you reach out to someone for a one time and then you don't follow up, you have like a lot of probability of getting rejected, right? But if you try to, like, just like a salesperson, so there's a difference between a good salesperson and a great salesperson. A good salesperson, they expect yes as an answer from their prospect, which means there is a probability of saying no. It can be 50-50. But a great salesperson, they don't at first try to get yes as an answer. They try to minimize the probability of them saying no, and eventually they sign up. Or they won't sign up, but you will build that relation with them, and they might refer you somewhere else if they don't have the need. So try to build those relations. So, like, I think we're on short on time, but this is a great way to get better results than others. And at the end, I would say keep on iterating the same process. Start with discovery, or if you have to break these down into 4 phases or 5 phases, or if you want to like shrink them, you can do it. Find your own way, but try to do these things because these will help you stand out better, and you will have some material progress in front of you from where you can do retrospective of your own, and you will understand that these are the things that work, these are the things that don't work. So this is like the core of what I wanted to share here. uh, I won't force this framework on anyone, but I would say this is a great way. I wanted to ignite that mindset that people start thinking differently and they start applying these daily life, daily job principles or product job principles to their daily life or their job search or career. You can scan this QR code to get access to these slides. Otherwise, I will also paste these slides somewhere in the comments of this event.
Awesome, Ahmed. On behalf of the Product Source team and the community, thank you so much for delivering such an insightful session. Honestly, there were so many amazing tips and tricks that honestly I actually personally have learned today. And apart from this, having SWOT analysis to creating your own go-to-market strategy, as well as applying product principles, I think is definitely adding another perspective, and it's going to be a game changer for most of us while we are searching for our jobs. You also mentioned something really interesting, which is having a human side, which could be your genuine interest or volunteer work adds a lot of value to yourself and your branding. And it also actually increases your ATS score or passing rate that you have mentioned. So I think these were some super interesting things that you mentioned. Um, Moving on, let me just pull in some questions because we got a lot of questions from people. Um, so the first question is, Ahmed, as part of your scoring metrics for identifying leads, you mentioned growth potential. How do you quantify or identify something like that?
Can you please repeat the question? I
Yeah.
think I can see it here.
So it's about quantifying the growth potential. I believe when you were basically showing the growth
Mhm,
potential of
mhm.
particular companies, how would you quantify or identify like if this company is going
Right,
to grow?
right, right. I get your point. So I would say it can be very subjective. So for some people, it can be in terms of compensation, how they want to grow, how they want to start earning more, or they want to uh, like get better at it. And for some, it can be the impact that they are making, or the impact that product is making. For example, that product is solving a really good cause. So for some people, that can be a motivation. That can be like a growth metric for them.
Awesome. Let me pull in another question. Is there a time that you have noticed that people are more likely to respond to messages, for example, weekends or weekdays?
Not weekends. I would suggest that don't call someone or don't reach out to someone early morning or on Mondays, because that's when most of the companies have their stand-ups or meetings or like daily catch-ups. So they might miss your message or call. So try to do that in afternoon when people might be on their lunch break, and don't do it on Monday.
Perfect. Another one, I've heard people emphasizing on creating your portfolio. What's your take on this?
Again, like I kept on saying, like we should keep on experimenting. So for some people, having a portfolio in a form of a website might work well, because their LinkedIn might not be that good, but their website is so good that it came up for someone who was searching for a specific role, and they get connected with that person because of that website or that portfolio. Same way the Behance portfolio, same way portfolio on any other platform. So like keep on trying things, but I would say like LinkedIn works the best. So if you try to leverage the portfolio section of LinkedIn, the featured section of LinkedIn, so I think it can serve the purpose. You don't have to have a really nice website which you have to manage as well, you will pay for the subscription as well, then the content will keep getting outdated. So you should narrow down the focus. You don't have to keep on updating content on all of these places, your LinkedIn, your resume, your portfolio on some other platform. So but again, like, you should give it a try, it might work for you.
Awesome.
But for example, sorry, if you are into design, then that's a different case. If you are into product design or UI UX design, or you are a designer or a visual designer, then you need to have a portfolio. It can be on any of the platform. There are a bunch of platforms out there. Behance and Dribble are the most popular ones, but you need to have a visual portfolio where you can portray everything. You can have your case studies, and then you can, like, you separate all of your work from your, like, other information, just to declutter everything.
Perfect. How important would you say is personal branding on LinkedIn today? Today's market, given hiring has slowed down in recent times.
I cannot emphasize on it enough. I think it's extremely important to have your LinkedIn updated. Keep on iterating with your headline, your about section. Keep on adding more, uh, I would say, projects, skills. Keep getting recommendations, because it helps others understand that how good you are at work. And I would say, like, this is like uh, a true source of information for all the hiring managers. Uh, I'm not sure. There might be some hiring managers in our audience today. Uh, we can, like, send out a survey, and we would understand that most of these people, they rely on LinkedIn.
Awesome. So the next question is my personal favorite. I was hoping somebody would ask this. Is it possible to get a job in UAE from home country, or is it necessary to come to visit UAE and then candidate will get an interview call?
Actually, I would say it's not possible at all to apply from your home country and get a job. You have to be here in UAE, because when companies, they call candidates, they expect them to be there, right? Because there are so many people out there, they cannot just rely on someone who will take a ticket and get a visa and then travel. Specifically, when we consider all the visa issues with the countries like Pakistan or Bangladesh or India. But for this person, I would say there is a technique that I used and it worked. I didn't mention it anywhere because I think it's like, people, some people can think it's not ethical or not we shouldn't do it. But what you can do is, before coming here, while you're doing your discovery, you're doing your research, I ordered a UAE SIM card from my friend, and he sent that SIM card to me, and then I changed the number on my resume and everywhere, and then I started applying to jobs. And then I started getting calls, because one of my mentor, like, from UAE, he mentioned that market here is really slow. Recruitment processes are really slow. So if you start getting initial calls, it would take 2 more weeks to get the next call, maybe. So I started getting all those initial calls, and then I told them that I can be in Dubai in this on this date, and then, like, some of those calls worked, and I went to the next stage. So there are these tactics that you can use, but I would highly recommend that you must come here to look for a job, because, like, you have to be here to meet a person. Or what if, like, they are running out of time and they have to meet you the next day or the same week. So it's better to plan ahead.
100%. Cool. So I think I'll just pull in last question. While identifying leads, what is your take on looking for either startups or companies having a stable footprint? This could be based on your experience, maybe.
See, like, again, like, when you do your self-assessment, you should know what you want from life or from your job. Like, there are people who look for very stable environment, but it comes, everything has a trade-off. If it's very stable, the growth might be very slow, or the company might not be very innovative, which happens in a lot of corporates or MNCs. uh, but again, if you are someone who wants to grow very fast, who is not like, afraid of stability, they think it's fine. Like, if the company doesn't work, if the startup doesn't work, then for them, startup is the best thing, because there are people who, like, thrive in chaos. So uh, it's, again, comes down to your self-assessment.
Awesome. I guess looking at the time, we'll try and wrap up our session. You guys can feel free to just post more questions, and I'm sure Ahmed would be happy to respond back. Moving on. Thank you for everyone who joined and asked questions. Before you leave, just a quick reminder on our next upcoming session on the 18th of August with one and only Atir, who would be coming, and we'll have a meet and greet. And with that, Ahmed, thank you once again for this amazing and insightful session. We will just wrap up, and thank you everyone who joined, and have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.